Hey everybody, it is Carter Mann, and you have just jumped inside the pull bag. You fell in! You didn't know there was even a hole there!
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is episode 405.5. That's right, 405.5. I'm, of course, TFG1Mike. Joining me once again is Mikey from Moonbase 2.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I am as well as can be expected, I guess. I mean, I kind of wish I had nanites in my body at this point, but I don't know if I could handle the process to actually get them in there. But yeah, we are back. It is the end of March. So far in this month, we've gotten Mikey's Origins of Comic Reading in episode 402. Steve and I talked about Beast Wars number 2 in episode 403. My friends Edward and Kendra joined me for Comics Not Found, where we started talking about comics, and then we talked about anything other than comics, and then somehow we tied it back into talking about comics. I don't know how the hell we did that. And then they also joined me for Radiant Black number 1 and 2 from Image Comics, and we're here. God damn it, I thought I got rid of all this shit before I started the recording. We'll talk about an edit point. We are here to talk about the second issue of Carter Mann's Immortal Orphans. That's right, Immortal Orphans number 2 from Carter Mann on Comixology. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a comic that just... I don't, because he's better than this, but just turn your brain off and pay attention to this story, because this story has literally everything in it under the sun that any person with common sense would want to read.
Yeah, no, and a murder cat. who is my favorite character now, by the way.
So it went from already last issue to Murder Cat this issue.
Yeah, Murder Cat is the bomb, I believe the technical term is.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. Murder Cat is actually based, as far as I can remember, and I'm sure Carter will correct me because I did not get any previous knowledge from him before this issue, unlike last time. But Murder Cat, I do know, is based on his actual real-life cat, Pepper. She is not purple. The reason why she's purple in here is it's a reference to his girlfriend, Laura Hardy, regular Laura here on the over there in Kentucky in the radio biz. She is regular Laura on 107.7 The Eagle in Louisville, Kentucky, and her hair is purple. So that's kind of why Murder Cat is purple. But yes, Murder Cat is amazing. We start the issue off pretty much where we left off with issue 1, with Gannion having to do the whole time travel thing, and he didn't exactly volunteer for this.
No, he's a volunteer. It says so. It says so right there. You volunteered.
You're right. They're going to give him lots of gifts. You know, these gifts you keep giving me, they don't... This
Electrocution is the gift that keeps on giving.
Ain't that the truth? Who needs the gas chamber when you can have the electric chair?
Lovely! I'd like to point out that was Mike, not Mikey. Just emphasizing that one.
I think they would know, considering I'm American and you're Irish.
Yeah, our version of execution is too much Guinness.
Hey, you know what? Electrified Guinness, sign me up, man. Does it come in a jacuzzi? Can you get bubbles out of it?
Oh God, I'm sorry. Even I can't. Oh, because Guinness is basically a solid, so like that's more like going for a swim in Jello. But
hey, I like Jello.
Not the swim in.
Jello. Oh, come on! Everyone loves Puddin' Pops. Oh Lord,
we're off to a good start.
We've podcasted exactly 3 times for the first time ever, folks, and the camaraderie is already there. It's like, if I can keep him laughing through the whole episode, it's like, I've done my job. Yeah. And Carter did tell me when I was asking him about issue 1 that the art would get a huge step up, and it is so much cleaner in this one.
Like, and I joked about Murder Cat there, but like the actual, like, they use it as like the picture in the issue 2, but the actual like shot of Murder Cat giving your man the dirty look, just like, I'm sorry, what? Like, that is a really nice piece of work. I really like that, and the rest of the arts come together a lot. Like, it feels a lot more dynamic, and purposeful. Like, I didn't mind the art in the first one, but I would say like it had that air of I'm figuring this out. This feels like, okay, I put an issue out. I know what I'm doing now. I'm getting the sense of it. Like, I would say there's a notable step up. Actually, to be honest, like, spoilers for the end, but I think there's a notable step up in the whole issue.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It between the backgrounds, between the lines, between the colors, just everything is a huge step up. Ooh, I did not recognize. Ooh, I'm on the eyeball page where it's been my privilege to know you, Artie. You've been closest confidant these last several years. I'm way ahead at this point, but I'm like, ooh, that's an eyeball. Ugh. Know about all them eyeball things now. I had a bad experience in kindergarten. No, it's...
You see, one time I found an eyeball on the street and it was looking at me.
Yeah, no, this is even worse. For Halloween in 1985, remember this, folks, 1985, in kindergarten for Halloween, the afternoon kindergarten teacher decided to dress up like a witch for Halloween and bring in, quote-unquote, eyeball soup. Ooh,
oh, God.
I've had an aversion to... Yeah, no. I've had an aversion to eyeball soups. Yeah, no. So me and eyeballs don't exactly get together all that often, but yeah, I mean,
it's always awkward. Like, they're there, they're wishing me well, and I'm just like trying not to look at them, but they're saying like, you're not making eye contact. And I'm just like, it's really awkward.
Yeah, exactly. So Gannion goes through all these procedures, and they're preparing him to go back in time or to go through the Porta Luminis or what, the black hole portal that they've created here. And one of the things is that she is sending Artie with him, and she is actually essentially setting the genie free. She's giving Artie her sentience or his sentience, or I don't know if Artie's supposed to be male, female, whatever. I assume it's supposed to be female, because considering the red and fuchsia boobs on it. I don't know. It's a robot, folks.
I'm not commenting on the color of someone's boobs. That feels very, very personal.
It's
like, your boobs don't match, madam. I'm sorry, it's distracting me. Your neon boobs. I could take the neon, but it's the fact that you had to go with two different colors. How is there not a steampunk game with that? Seriously, or a cyberpunk game?
Yeah.
Not cyberpunk, but a cyberpunk game of like. Because I've never I've seen, because it's sci-fi. I've seen them with multiple boobs and no boobs and boobs where boobs should not go. But I've never seen someone do like here's someone with different colored skin like all across their body. That would be really neat. Rainbow Child as a superhero.
And are we in Kansas anymore?
Listen, with me, Kansas
rainbows. I'm like,
Kansas isn't even on the map.
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't say anything about finding a pot of gold in that scenario, so.
Well, in my case, I'd probably likely to be finding a bowl of cereal. So,
with eyes.
Trust me, that was not magically delicious.
Oh. So somewhere in this, there's a comic.
Yeah, somewhere in this, there's a comic. That's what happens when you record at 7 a.m., folks.
Not my idea. I'm saying.
I understand that. But you're like, what, 7, 8, 9 hours away from me, so it's like I gotta figure out some easy way to deal with the time difference. Alright, getting back into this, they're setting him up to go through the Portaluminous and doing all this stuff, and she says, okay, so if I explain this next part, you're likely to freak out, so... And then she presses the button. Wait, what? What did you do?
I was very curious where this is going. Like, I wasn't expecting the whole quantum thing, but
yeah,
it was happening. Like, Jesus.
And then I assume I could be wrong, and I'm most likely wrong, and I know how good Carter is, and he will point this out to me. The panel where Ganian comes back. Wow, what was that? I feel amazing. The pain is gone, like gone. I'm like, oh, giant green glowing lights, and I'm like, did they just inject him with like really, really high toast fruit, corn syrup, weed or something? Like, seriously, I see this green glow and all I can think of is pot. And I'm not a pothead.
Kids, if your pot's green when you take it, maybe you should leave it outside a bit longer. If it's on fire when you take it, you should probably not.
Take it. Yeah.
Take pot responsibly, kids.
The Geekcast Radio Network and the Pullback do not recommend you take pot at all. Just say no to drugs, folks. Just say no to drugs. But
when
yes,
anyone's watching.
He is. Yeah. Oh, McGruff the crime dog. Good Lord. So yeah, he feels 1,000,000% better, and Artie says, yes, the surface area of the anomaly behaves in some ways like a black hole's event horizon. It's not at all unlikely that we'll both be atomized upon entering the portal. Changed my mind.
That's a very good panel. I really like panels that make good use of darkness. And good use of just very simple colors, and like the use of black, a bit of sort of sea green, and the white eyes. I think that was very effective, especially for a panel that's essentially for a gag panel as well.
Yeah,
I thought that was quite clever, quite inventive.
Yeah, I actually changed my my Facebook cover photo to this panel because oh boy. So they get ready to go through the portal, and we cut to... So that was 2420. And, you know, Carter did comment on our post about that, and it's like, hey, 420, get it? And I'm like, oh, you sneaky bastard.
Topical to the previous part of the conversation.
Exactly, right? You know... Don't do drugs, kids. Just say no. We cut back to... No. You leave your Irish peer pressure to yourself. Thank you very much.
Sure. What's wrong with a few bit of, get the injection into the vein. It's grand, so. It's like Lucky Charms, but for your head. Never listen to my podcast.
An Irishman doing a Lucky Charm impression.
Listen, I have grown up on American TV. You have no concept what it's like being one of us sitting there listening to... It's not even the 1960s Batman kind of shit. It's stuff made in the last 5 years and just sitting like, where do you think I'm from? Who sounds like that? What's going on? Do you all think that we power our houses by rubbing sticks together, or what?
No,
we don't. We don't. We have solar power. Thank you.
Okay, so solar-powered Guinness. It works. See? Electrified Guinness. Fuel the whole country on alcohol, and, the stereotype works.
All I can think of that Family Guy episode about the whiskey now. The hyper advanced society. We've discovered this new type of alcohol.
Lord. So we go back to 2220, and we go back to Science Boy and Quinn and all of that. And speaking of alcohol, you were just
I actually really like this scene because I just like how it plays out. Mm-hmm. Like it's actually quite clever to just lay the groundwork. Don't call me kid, and laying that groundwork, and it's like, okay, it's just he's talking to a teenager. Don't call me kid. I'm 14, but as it plays out, he's getting more annoyed every time, and it's just like, I'm 46, and I thought that was a great reveal. Like it was like, no, 45. Sorry, I am in my 40s, and I am never allowed to grow up. Yeah. Like I was a toy for a child that someone actually didn't care about. Like that's fascinating. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, this is basically, even though the design of Science Boy has nothing to do with what I'm about to reference, this is basically Robin Williams' Jack. It's an 8-year-old in a 40-year-old's body kind of thing, but he's a 14, 15-year-old in a 45-year-old's body.
That's actually a good comparison.
Yeah. And enter Murder Cat.
The greatest cat.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and I just now noticed a little cat tree in the background as she walks away.
I honestly have a feeling Murder Cat's going to be pretty significant because there's a lot of not central, but clearly paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And not just a panel where it's just purr and oh, I hear something and it looks like it wearing a monocle and should be an anime, but the one where he's explaining his background and everything else, and where they're all in shadow and Murder Cat's clearly to the side, but in a way where it's listening in. I'm suspicious of the cat. I mean, I'm always suspicious of the cat, but I'm specifically suspicious of this cat.
Yes, I have questions about Murder Cat because, like I said before, I know it is slightly based off of his actual Carter Mann's actual cat Pepper, and obviously the coloring, as I said, is based off of his girlfriend's hair color. But what I have questions about is this giant. I know all cats have collars or something, but Murder Cat has a big honking collar on her. It takes up. It's not just around her neck. It's it's almost like, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to anyway.
Uh-oh.
It's like an upper chest chastity belt. Seriously.
Where do you think cats reproduce?
No, I know, but that's why I said upper. That's why. No, trust me. I get
babies are born from the neck.
No. That's not. I understand that. I get that. But what I'm saying is how large this thing is. It reminds me of a chastity belt. It's just in the wrong spot.
It kind of there was a cartoon many, many moons ago. Mummy's Alive, mid-90s. Mm-hmm. And they had a cat in it. And it could grow into this lynx type form. And it had a lot of these this looks very Egyptian to me. And especially the eye marking. Yep. Has kind of a hieroglyphic vibe, and I'm just thinking of that, especially with the expressiveness.
Absolutely. So we get Science Boy's history through his creator, who was Julian Durand. And like you said, you see them in shadow, and you see Murder Cat in shadow, and it's I need to file this away for later, just in case.
I must live up to my name.
Yes, exactly. And, I think that this has gotten to be, it's one whole story, but it is two halves of one whole story, and we're not, like I mentioned earlier, or mentioned back in episode 399, there are times where time travel in comics screws with me, now that I've read the first issue, and I've read this at least 3 or 4 times at this point, I am perfectly fine with them setting up the time travel in the beginning and then actually going back to 2220 and having this whole story play out. And then, so basically, the 2420 stuff is basically bookends to what the main part of the 2220 story is.
Well, I'm getting, like, structurally, it's quite Terminator. This is the framing device of go back in time, take the robot and go back in time to change the future kind of thing. So, like, the meat and bones in a way is the 2220 stuff. But I would say in this book, I actually think the framing device, the stuff with Ganian and the rest, Ganian and Liberty, I think it has an interesting job where it basically adds as much to the world as the 2220 stuff, which is not always an easy thing to do with your framing device, especially a book like this where essentially you have 2 very large parts and then a smaller part with Liberty and her brother, and then another shorter epilogue, essentially, is how this plays out. So I think there's a very good balance of content. Like, a lot goes on in all of these.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that that you could really give some praise for. That Carter really hit a very good balance between pages, which is something I like a lot of mainstream comic books don't manage, especially ones that have this. Like, there's 3 parallel storylines. So that's not an easy thing to pull off satisfactorily. So I think he's done a good job here.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And the whole part of the story with Liberty and her brother, it's like, wow, this just adds so much more to what's already happening. And it's a whole other layer because, oh boy, the reveal at the end of this issue. Yikes.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Dude left us on a cliffhanger, and I know he's working feverishly on issues 3 and 4, so yikes. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the point yet of Ganian actually time traveling. It's just him getting set up to, and like you said, we have this middle section here with Liberty and Hernia Man, and basically trying to break him out, I think, or calm him down or something.
Yeah, there's something about that. The helmet is like something about the helmet. She wants it off, and I'm assuming it does either something to his brain or it's something that makes him the way he is. And, you know, he's resisting. She's trying to get him to calm down. We see his apps. Like, it's weird. This section, like these sections in the 2220, they're actually tonally quite, and in some ways jarring, because they feel more like superhero parody. Whereas, like, last time I said the other ones feel more 2000 AD, and I think this issue really drives that home. Like, I think the framing in 2420 and the stuff with Science Boy, that feels very 2000 AD to me. Like, even the approach to reality TV. Whereas Liberty stuff with her brother, that feels much more like a sort of a parody superhero book. Like, here's the Hernia Man with his massive, powerful intestines, or something like that, you know? And so, and like, it's very interesting to me to get that tonal shift while not really breaking the flow of the book.
Right.
Which isn't easy, which is not easy. So again, I'm pointing all this out because I think Carter, like, it's one of those things where I'm reading this book and I'm thinking, like, this is someone he's trying he's putting his oar in. He's new to the medium. He's new to, like, self-publishing and everything else. But, like, within 2 issues, you're already seeing quite a jump in quality.
Yeah.
And ideas are forming quite well, and visuals are improving, and he's managing and balancing a lot of elements. And I think that's really praiseworthy.
Yeah. And like I said in episode 399, he spent all of 2020 working on this as far as crafting the idea and whatever else. And he's always, for his entire life, he's always been in comics. He's just never had, no one's ever given him the chance to, you know, have that breakout thing. And It's one of those things where I love the fact that he's making it on his own. He's doing it the way he wants to do it. He's not beholden to any, any Marvel, DC heads, whatever. Although I'm sure we'd love to see any of the publishing companies pick this up. At the same time, I wonder if they did, if it would affect how he creates it, because of these companies have certain things that they want and certain things that they don't want. So, hey, as long as he can make it on his own in the way he wants to do it, I'm all for it. I'm all for supporting him and supporting this comic. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, everyone else should be at least trying this, because it is really cool. It's seeing a writer and an artist do something original. It has references, it has feelings, like you said, sci-fi, for 2000 AD or superhero. Like, it has all that stuff, except it's not trying to fit Batman into Bewitched or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not like it's his own creation. It's his own thing. He can bring his personal style and personality and styles to it. Like, as soon as I saw Murder Cat, I'm like, oh, that is so Lara. I know it's not. I know it's not his girlfriend Lara. It's more so his cat Pepper. But every time I see videos of him and his cat, it's like, oh yeah, yep. Pretty much, yeah. That's Pepper, all right.
But that's the thing. Like, this is making me like. I think it's really good that he's getting a chance to do this on his own ideas and his own way and everything else. But the thing is, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking like, if I was like going through an IDW book or a DC book or a Marvel or whatever, or a Dark Horse or whoever, Image, pick a name,
right?
And I saw his name pop up as taking over writing duties for X or new book, I would now have that on, like, okay, definitely picking up issue 1, because I think his style, like, I would love to see him on loads of original concepts, and I'd also really like to see his take on established characters, because there's an inventiveness here that you don't always get. Like, it's in a weird way, it's kind of what I got when I started reading the Joshua Williamson run on The Flash. Right. Because, like, I wasn't too familiar with him, but one of the things I've always been like, I kind of hate how, since he came back, Barry has basically been written as kind of a less interesting version of Wally, because Barry didn't have a personality. He was a Silver Age comic book hero. He was a cookie cutter, like, good guy who was then followed up by a character who was developed in the dark age of comics into the 90s, into the 2000s, like, when character writing became kind of a big thing. And then when I was reading Josh's version in Rebirth, it was like, oh, wow, he's actually given Barry a distinct personality and character. And it plays off of the fact he's older. It plays off, like, things that Barry lies a lot. Like, because that's what Silver Age superheroes did. They lied constantly and got away with it. And they play that out in a modern context. And that's kind of the feeling I get off this. It's like, okay, I'm seeing talent. I'm seeing a lot of stuff I wouldn't expect from sort of like independently published sci-fi comic, and I'd really like to see his take on like something maybe similar to this or original. I'd love to see something following up this that was original, but I've just got this idea in my head, like, give him something like Animal Man. I'd love to see his take on that. Because I love the horror Animal Man, and I really did enjoy the sort of semi-parody one that was the fourth wall breaking semi-horror one from the 90s and I think it was just 90s. And this is the kind of writing style here is something I'd love to see in that kind of book,
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, this has come together very well. Much better than I was actually expecting when I first started reading these. Because like I said, I think there's a big jump in quality from the last issue. It's not that I didn't like the last issue. It's just it felt to me like, okay, this is an independent comic publisher who's doing his own thing, and he's learning how to do it. And now this is like he's learned how to do a lot of it. And I'm sure the next issue there'll be more refinement and more. And I think the last issue could be very interesting to read.
Yes, well, here's hoping he has a 50-issue run or more, depending on how long his story is supposed to be. Because that's the thing. Some people set out to do, we're going to tell this full story in 4 issues. And, okay, great. But what if at the end of the 4th issue, I want more? Like, you may have finished your story, but now you need to give us more kind of thing. So I don't know what his plan is, and hopefully soon I can get him on the show and we can talk about it and all that good stuff and whatever. So there's that. Issue 2, absolutely enjoyed it. There wasn't anything in here other than the little eyeball scene thing. That's just my own, predilection, I guess. But it's like you said, the art has had an amazing leap. The writing is still so very, very good. I'm glad there are no more sports ball puns. So, there's that. At least for now, anyway. I'm sure he'll throw some more in there sometimes. Maybe use some hockey puns, Carter.
Listen, stick in some hurling. Give me something I'll understand.
Hurling or curling?
Hurling, which is by far the most dangerous sport played by men. Where someone said, we'll give you a big stick and a ball hard as a rock. Also, you don't have to wear a helmet. And you have to run and act at a pace no other sport acts for. It's something to watch. I love watching Americans watch hurling for the first time because, just that moment of dawning horror as they just watch it. You play this? Yep. And everyone playing this is doing it for free? Yep. What?
Yeah, really?
It's a fun experience.
Yes, I'm sure it is. It sounds to be an ill-advised experience in my eyes, but
yes, it is.
It's kind of like me and bull riding. I don't mind watching the bull riding on TV, but would I ever? No, I ain't Bugs Bunny. Thank you very much. I ain't facing off against that bull. So, Immortal Orphans number 2, 0 to 5. What would you give it?
I gave it straight middle last time, I believe. So I would be pretty comfortable giving this a 4. I think
I'm right there with you.
It's a good, solid improvement over issue 1. Like I said, when I was rating, I was more rating in the concept of this is the bench setter. I think this is a good jump up from the bench setter. And I'm interested to see what happens in the next issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I would also give it a 4. Like I said, I love how much more smooth the art seems to be, from the backgrounds to the lines to the way the facial features are. That gun Liberty has, holy crap! That gun is amazing.
The incineration beam.
Yeah.
Yep.
That gun is just looking at that gun, I'm like, she got a big honking gun. Okay, then. That's amazing. Obviously, Murder Cat is amazing. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens. What I'm looking forward to now is that, so we've seen Gannion get prepared to time travel, and by the end of this issue, he does go through the portal. I'm interested to see how he interacts with Quinn, because that's what I assume. They're going back to 2220. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong, and Carter will most likely let me know if I am wrong, and that's fine that he does that. He's the creator. It's his story. He should know what the hell he's doing. But I'm assuming, just looking forward, I'm looking forward to seeing Gannion interact with Quinn and Science Boy and Murder Cat and all of that. I think that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the timelines merge, like him coming into the time, like you said, Terminator. You know what the funny thing is they did make a 6th movie. God.
Oh God, I know. After the second one, basically every Terminator movie is a reboot. So I have no idea. I know there's one, and every reboot has good Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. But because it's rebooted every time, it's a different good Arnold Schwarzenegger every time.
Well, the 5th one was, it's more confusing than hunting turbo foxes. I was going to say, if you didn't laugh at that, we got a problem. So, but, yeah, I don't know. The whole Terminator thing was a big, well, like you said, it's kind of a big kind of allegory here for us. And again, very much enjoying it. Can't wait to see more of Carter Mann's Immortal Orphans.
Mm.
And I assume we'll have an issue out in April, but what we will also have in April here, folks, inside the pull bag on the Geekcast Radio Network, is something I've been deeming this since I think either 2016 or 2017, might have been before then, but I don't remember. But anyway, we will be having Autobotly April. That's right, episode 406 to episode 409. Transformers Volume 2, The Change in Your Nature. Volume 3, All Fall Down. Galaxies 7 to 9. Beast Wars number 3, and Galaxies 10 to 12 will be what is covered in April here on the Pullbag. And obviously once issue 3 of Immortal Orphans comes out, we'll cover that as well. You got anything you want to pimp or promote or anything like that?
Yeah, just as always, check us out in the Moonbase 2, moonbase2.libsyn.com, and we're on Twitter as the Moonbase 2. Yeah, we ostensibly talk about Transformers, but usually that only lasts a little bit these days. So, yeah, I'm currently trying to track down a Transformers Red RC, which I hear is absolutely terrible, but I need people to buy Transformers Prime figures so they make some more. So, but my God, is she so overpriced? People keep bumping up her price. It's nuts. Like they know I'm looking for something. But yeah, check us out. We usually try to be at least mildly entertaining, and we do a Patreon show as well if you're interested for $2 a month, because we talk about anything else really, and we do some comic reviews and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that's us.
Very cool, very cool. You can find me at TFG1Mike on Twitter, and you can hear all the other stuff in the closing of the episode. And I'm still working on getting Steve Megatron to record a new intro and outro, maybe just a new intro, because we haven't done, like I said earlier, we already finished I Hate Fairyland, so got to get him to change that up. But anyway, make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time here inside the Pull Bag.
Bye.
Yay. Bye.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pull Bag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at thepullbag and at geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.